Hello everyone, welcome to Pete's CD Vinyl World. Today I want to respond to Ron Haggerty and Chris Propfe's vinyl tag or contest where they're saying show your favorite 5 punk albums. So I don't have a huge punk collection. Most of what I have is on CD, and I don't even have a lot of the stuff I would like to have. So I'm basically just going to give maybe 5 random bands or albums that I like, and let's get started. My favorite punk band is probably All and the Descendants. If you don't know the history, All sort of morphed into the Descendants with a different singer. All's had several different singers, but Descendants, the singer was Milo Aukerman. This is a live album that All put out. Has all their big songs: Carnage, Skin Deep, Just Perfect, She's My Ex, Sex in the Way. In the early 2000s, they put out this double live CD, which is cool because it has 2 concerts, one from All and one from the Descendants. I guess they did a double bill tour. And it's basically the same band, but All has Chad Price on vocals, and Descendants, of course, has Milo Aukerman. And this is pretty cool, too, because in their sets, All plays a couple Descendant songs, and the Descendants play a couple All songs, which is pretty cool. And if you've never heard All or Descendants, they're sort of what you call California punk, surf punk, heavily influenced by that sort of California living. Bands like Blink 182, I think, were heavily influenced by them, but they didn't sort of get the notoriety they deserved. A lot of their lyrics could be construed as like juvenile or but for a guy, I think you can relate to them whether you're 15 or you're 45. But they're not punk in the way of like anti-government and let's destroy everything. Not that way, just speedy, fast riffs. So this is a Ramones compilation called Loud Fast Ramones. I like this one a lot because it has something from their whole career, all their albums. In the late 80s, they became more produced. I don't even want to say college rock, but not as punky. One thing I noticed, all the bands I picked are actually all U.S. bands as opposed to UK or other countries. But the Ramones, to me, were unique because if you saw a picture of them, you would just think they're a hard rock band. It's four guys in long hair and leather jackets, biker jackets. They didn't have that punk look at all, but loud and fast. That's what they were. So I think that's one of the main differences between, say, I'm no expert on punk or anything like that, but like to me, the UK punk bands, the image or fashion was just as important as the music, where US punk bands to me sort of came after that and almost look like and literally were homeless guys. There was no rhyme or reason to how they looked at all, which is cool. And then punk sort of merged into hardcore in a way. Like Black Flag was sort of borderline punkish and then hardcore. This is a compilation. I've showed this a couple times before. Let Them Eat Jelly Beans. Came out in the early 80s, but it has, Black Flag, Bad Brains, Dead Kennedy, Circle Jerks, Subhumans. Second side of this has more of that reggae / ska punk, which is pretty cool too. Like even a band like The Clash. I mean, yeah, they looked punk, but besides their first album, are they really punk? They really became almost like a pop reggae / ska band after that. I don't know. That's just my opinion. And then you have like a band like the New York Dolls that came out in '75 were considered punk, but they were, part of the New York glam scene. But at the time, that was considered punk, and really their music is just, you know, beefed up rock and roll from the 50s almost. So it's hard to explain like what is punk, but so another band I liked a lot that you don't hear about anymore is 7 Seconds. You know, back in my middle school, early high school days, this is pre-90s U.S. punk explosion, Green Day, all that stuff. You know, all the people that I knew that were into punk, like 7 Seconds and All in the Descendants, and this is one band you never heard about as being an influence on anybody. This one came out in '89. This is more leaning towards more what became alternative, I guess. But it's still surprising that not a lot of people talk about them at all. And another band that I liked a lot back then was Bad Religion. Band of mine, one cover band I was in the 90s, we used to play Recipe for Hate, I believe, from them. They're sort of like the Thinking Man's punk band. You know, their lyrics are very about serious subjects, and this is actually on Atlantic. They were on a major label for a while, but check them out if you've never heard them. And just another couple bands that's sort of on the fringe. This is a 90s band called Degeneration, which their lineage goes back to more of the New York Dolls style punk. Like if you saw them, you would say, oh yeah, that's a punk band, but their music is more hard rock / punk / sleaze rock, which, you know, they had a minor hit with a song called No Way Out, but they're cool if you can ever check them out. And this might seem cheesy, but early Goo Goo Dolls, they were pretty much a punk band. On their third album, Boy Named Goo, they sort of were drifting into the alternative, and by the fourth album, they were just completely pop garbage. But I would recommend the first 4 Goo Goo Dolls albums. I think they're all really good. The first 3 are actually pretty much punk. So that's Goo Goo Dolls. Like I said, these probably aren't my favorite. This is probably my favorite punk album ever. All Roy's Revenge, along with Descendants. This is probably it. But that's my response. If you like these videos, please subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.